Yeah, yeah, yeah. Brassy girls everywhere. Titty ass hands in the air. So party over here. Shaking for the man of the year. Oh, man of the year.
We good? We good. Alright, people. Jimmy Bones here to check out the latest Far Cry 5 reveal. The very first Far Cry 5 reveal trailer. Kind of summarization of just basically the location. I believe it's Morocco or Maryland. Somewhere down south. Texas. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's fictional. Pretty sure it's not. But that doesn't matter. The location does not matter when it comes to this next generation of Far Cry. As we all know, Far Cry is on a decline. You know, most people's opinion, with Far Cry Primal being a disaster, Far Cry 4 being a good game in and of itself, but basically a carbon copy of Far Cry 3. Extremely repetitive. Game looks great, but animations and the map, overall structure of the game, gameplay especially, just was damn near exactly the same, as Far Cry 3. Basically a carbon copy of the previous game. As I said, Far Cry Primal being a failure. And then even a year before Far Cry 4, we had, probably the best outing for Far Cry. Maybe alongside Far Cry 3 in Far Cry 3's Blood Dragon DLC, which people loved. And most people would just accept that and would want a full game based on Blood Dragon in and of itself. I think that Primal may have started out as, maybe a 5 to 10 hour story campaign, mini DLC like Far Cry Blood Dragon did. I mean, Far Cry Primal, is it even much longer than 10 hours? Anyway, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, we got Far Cry 3, and then a year later we got Blood Dragon. Like a year or two later after that, we got Far Cry 4. Then we got Primal. We're just getting burnt out, by Ubisoft. It's basically what they did with Assassin's Creed with their annual games, pretty much. And I'm kind of just burnt out of Ubisoft, pretty much. We've seen Far Cry 4, basically, comparatively speaking to Far Cry 3, was a letdown. Ubisoft in general were just being burnt out by them. Far Cry Primal was a wreck, trash. No one picked that up. It was a dumbed down version of, what we knew from Far Cry. We got, of course, Watch Dogs 1, the most hyped up game aside from Destiny for 2014. It was probably the biggest letdown, even more so than Destiny for that year. And, people were extremely wary of Watch Dogs 2. People bought Watch Dogs 2, but I think like 1/3 of what the sales were for Watch Dogs 1, just because people knew what Ubisoft was up to with their BS and, showing one thing and then having the final game reveal something completely different. So ever since, I guess, Watch Dogs 1 back in 2014, people have been like kind of standoffish with Ubisoft games because they know like they're going to bait and switch pretty much. They put off Assassin's Creed for, I think, Syndicate came out last year or the year before, I'm not sure. I don't think they haven't announced Assassin's Creed yet for this year. I do believe, though, that we're going to get some Far Cry 5 gameplay maybe at E3 in about 2 weeks. It wouldn't surprise me. Well, yeah, that's what we're going to get because Ubisoft's going to have their own conference. We're going to get some Far Cry 5 gameplay, of course. And then that's really going to be the real test, to see if, if this is not the last stand, but if they're on their last leg with Far Cry. And if this series should die pretty much because they just burned it out over the last 3 or 4 years. Gameplay was the main thing I was looking for. Animations, of course. The setting, it doesn't really matter to me. It could be anywhere. But they got to get the villain right. The villain for Far Cry 4, we just barely seen him. They killed off Voss like halfway through Far Cry 3. They got to hit the villain of the Far Cry 5. They got to show some, unique gameplay, separating each game from one another, or at least that game from 4 and 3. And pretty much the rest will just take care of itself. Ubisoft's going to have their open world, traits with the open world map, climbing towers. We got to add some new innovations. We got to innovate the gameplay pretty much and make it unique to Far Cry 4 and 3. So basically stay in tune for E3 and gameplay that they're going to show for Far Cry 5. I don't really care about the location of where it is, so this reveal doesn't really mean much to me. But just staying wary. Jimmy Bones here. Comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'm out.